Hi, my name's Dan, and this video is one of a series of videos that I'm doing on the design of magic systems for video games. And in this one, I'm taking a bit of a weird route. This is possibly going to be the strangest video that appears on my channel, because I'm going to be talking about real-world magic systems. So I want to, first of all, put a huge disclaimer in about this, which is that I'm in no way endorsing any kind of secret societies, any kind of exploration into the occult, or that saying that any of this is things that actually has any effect. I want to recognize two sides of a coin. So one side is that some of this will involve religious aspects, and there are people who are practitioners of these religions who I don't think people should be in any way prejudiced against. I believe that people should be allowed to celebrate the religion of their choice, and that nobody should be picked on as a result. But neither am I trying to claim that there is any truth to any of the things that is in here. And also I want to acknowledge that there are areas of this where there are reputedly mental health issues surrounding some of these practices. Again, I cannot say for sure the truth of that, but I just want to draw your attention to the fact that there are perceptions, at least, of danger in some of these areas. So, having said all that, what I really want to do is quite a light touch on this and look at some of the different magical belief systems or magic-related belief systems that are actually around in the real world, with a view to making the game designer aware of this background. For all sorts of reasons. One of them may be to draw inspiration, but another may be to be careful about whose toes you tread on in terms of representation, and all sorts of those things. Right, let's move on from me trying to cover my back and actually talk about these things. So I'm going to go quite fast because otherwise I could go into all sorts of depth, and I don't think I should do that. So religious mysticism. This is branches of esoteric thought that are linked to mainstream religions. So there is stuff for Judaism, there's the Kabbalah, there's Vedic mysticism, there's stuff for Christianity, and there's a tendency to ascribe things to Solomon, who's from the Old Testament. And then the next one I'm going to talk about is ritual magic. So this is often tied up with things like secret societies, maybe. It's the idea of holding some kind of ritual. You might have complex rules, complex sets of words, actions, objects needed, and it may be done in particular circumstances. And at this point, I will acknowledge that there is potentially an effect that ritual has on the people who take part in the ritual. This is a well-known part of sociology, which is why we have rituals for things like celebrating marriages and dealing with when somebody we know dies, and for birth, and the kind of mileposts in life. Right, moving on. Ancient and alternate religions. So there has been a resurgence of people getting involved and going to some religions that are either thought of as alternate religions or ancient religions. Just to mention a few, there's Greek and Roman deities and religions. There's Nordic, which seems to be particularly strong in the Scandinavian heavy metal world. There's Wicca and paganism of various forms, and there's Satanism and other things. And I don't want to kind of imply that these are all discrete either, because there are people who will pick and choose elements from different elements of that. And some of those more or less have the concepts of spells and magic that are involved with those religious practices. There's the invoking of demons and spirits, which may in itself be connected with some of the previous things that we're talking about. And the idea is that the power behind your magic comes from some supernatural entity that you are going to summon and control or petition and ask for. And there's all sorts of variations on this, including potentially the thoughts of guardian spirits. And sympathetic magic is the thought that if you do something, so actions, visuals, and words, objects that have either a connection to somebody or have some similarity to somebody or something. So I guess along with this, I would put in the thing called the Doctrine of Signatures, which is where if a plant looks like an ear, then it is reputed to then, that's a hint that it could be helpful for curing problems to do with your ear. But this is a fairly stereotypical picture of what you might think of as voodoo dolls, that kind of idea of having some kind of connection, using either a personal possession of somebody to do influence to do with that person, either for good or for bad. Moving on, the power of will. So there's a whole area of thought in some esoteric circles that magic is all about the focus of the will and of intent. And jokingly, you could say that that's basically wishing for something really hard. I think some of the practitioners would decry that as a complete misunderstanding of what will means, but that it is about targeted intent that will bring things to happen. And there is branches of magic which are kind of conceptually all in the mind, so which is to say that you're not actually affecting reality, rather you're affecting people's perception of reality. And so these are connected with illusions and perception. And you might say that this sort of thing is, if I say all of it is kind of way out there and weird, there are things that are potentially milder than what we're talking about here that do seem to have some efficacy. So hypnotism and neuro-linguistic programming are known to have at least some effect on people in terms of the processes of the mind. Where are we? Yes, I'm just going to throw a few last ones in there. I know the picture's just got words coming up. Quite a few of these are to do with predicting the future or fortune telling. So there's numerology, there's astrology, there's the tarot, there's palmistry, there's spiritualists and mediums, seances, and contacting the dead, and contacting guardian spirits, again, potentially, and homeopathy, which is this interesting idea that if you have some kind of potion, that it becomes more effective if you water it down until there's no potion left in your thing at all. Just the magic is left. And again, somebody may jump down my throat at completely misrepresenting homeopathy. So that was a hopefully quick, hopefully informative for game designers. Look at some of the branches and the different thought that go into any beliefs in a real world magic system. I've tried to be as comprehensive as possible. I'm sure there are things I've missed. Next video, we'll get back to looking at video games directly. So come back for that. That's it from me for now.